Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see about inheritance in Java. So as the term implies, the inheritance is the qualities that is driven from the parent to the children. So that is the inheritance is the derivation of qualities from one level to the other level. So here let us see in Java, inheritance in Java is a mechanism in which one object acquires all the properties and behaviors of a parent object. So we know that Java is a object oriented language, and then it's a collection of classes. So every class, you define a class and you instantiate an object for this. So when you are creating this parent object, and we can create children object which has the quality of the parent object as well. So that is the concept of inheritance, and here this inheritance is very important, which helps in the reusability of the class. Now inheritance represents the parent-child relationship, that is the top to bottom, or that is the relationship from that derived from the top to bottom level. Okay, it is an important part of OOPS concept. What is OOPS? Object Oriented Programming System. What is the purpose of inheritance in Java? For method overriding. Actually, this is one concept which is different from method overloading. This method overriding is a quality which is used in the inheritance level, where we can obtain the runtime polymorphism in the program. Okay, what is polymorphism? Is doing multiple job with the same name. That is the polymorphism. The object can have different shapes. Polymorph is a morphism, is a changing of different shapes. So polymorphism means changing into different processes, or that is the runtime polymorphism, which is method overriding. So in order to obtain method overriding, Java uses the concept of inheritance. And second one, for the code reusability. So once we define a code and we have well defined an object for the code also, we can reuse the particular object's quality by deriving through the inheritance property. That is called as a reusability. By reusability, we can save a lot of programming time. Now let us see the syntax of how the Java inheritance is done. So this is the syntax: class subclass name extends superclass name, open brace, methods and fields, that is data and functions we can define as you derive for the normal classes, and actually and we have to close the class definition. Here this subclass will have some methods and members, and it extends the methods and members of the superclass also. That means this subclass can have the qualities and methods and the functions of, or the data of their own class, as well as the methods and fields derived from the superclass also. So by then it can derive the qualities from the superclass. That is done by the extends keyword. Now let us see the types of inheritance. In the terminology of Java, a class which is inherited is a parent class or a superclass, and the new class is the child or the subclass. Okay, so here when you say the class A and class B, so class B is the child class which is derived from the parent class A. So here A is the superclass and B is the subclass. Okay, so this is example of single inheritance, because this class B gets its quality from the single parent class, which is the A class. That is the example, that is the diagram that shows the single inheritance. What is multi-level inheritance is, we can see this diagram which depicts the inheritance of class C from class B. In turn, class B inherits the qualities from class A. So now class B can have the qualities of class B as well as class A, as well as its own data and functions. So now this is called as a multi-level. So we can have many levels of this inheritance by having this particular, like this is like an grandparent, parent and the child. Okay, so now the child will have the qualities from their parents as well as from the grandparents. That type of inheritance is called as an multi-level inheritance. In case of single inheritance, the child class gets the qualities only from the parent class. That is the single inheritance. And now here hierarchical inheritance, here class A, now class B and class C are the children class and class A is the parent class. Now class B and the class B, they are all the parent of the class A. Now class B can acquire all the qualities of class A. Likewise, class C can acquire all the qualities of class A. So that is the concept of hierarchical inheritance. So class B will have its own data and members as well as the data and members methods of the class A. Okay, like this is like an parent having many children. So the many children, those children can occupy all the qualities from the parent class. This is the hierarchical inheritance. Next, we will see the other type called as an, the definition is given and the example is also given. So when a class inherits another class, it is known as single inheritance. In the example given below, dog class inherits the animal class, so there is a single inheritance. Let us see with the example, the code, example code for the inheritance, single inheritance concept. Now let us see this example. Now class animal. Class animal is the one class which has the function void eat, which defines system.out.println eating. So this is one function of the animal class. Okay. Now there is another class called dog. This dog extends the animal class. That means this dog class is the child class and animal class is the parent class. So this dog class extends the quality from its parent class, which is animal class. And what does animal class contain? Eat is the function. And what does dog class contain? Bark as the function. So here void bark, just printing the message as system.out.println barking. Now let us see how this inheritance can be used in the testing inheritance. So class test inheritance is the class. Public static void main is the main entry of the program. String args s. Okay, so open the brace. Now dog d is equal to new dog. Now actually what is being done over here, d is the object of the dog class and new is the operator to create the object for the class. Now next line says d dot bark. Actually what does it means? The bark is the function which is applied on the d object. Okay, and now next d dot eat. Now eat is the function applied on the d object. So we have to be here we have to carefully note that d is the object of the dog class, but bark is the object as the is the method of the dog class and eat is the method of the animal class. Now you have created a class, an object for the dog class d, and we are obtaining bark, d dot bark and d dot eat. So bark is from the dog class and eat is from the animal class. So because of the single inheritance concept, since this statement has come to extend the animal class to the dog class, from the dog object d we can call both bark as well as eat. Bark is of the dog class and eat is of the animal class. So this is the example of the single inheritance. So dog class has the single parent which is the animal class. Okay, now let us see what is the example of the multi-level inheritance. So when there is a chain of inheritance, it is known as a multi-level inheritance. Let us see with the same example how it is extended. So class animal, so void eat system.out.println eating. Next one, class dog extends animal. As we did in the previous example, we are extending the animal class to the dog class and the dog has the bark as the function. Okay, and now this dog class we have closed this brace. Now we are having one more class called baby dog extends dog. Okay, so we are adding one more class to just to give the example of a multi-level inheritance. So void weep. So weep is the function which is just has the messages system.out.println weeping. Okay, now we are closing the baby dog class. Now let us see how the inheritance happens. class test inheritance 2, this is the class name, and let us see here how this multi-level inheritance is implemented here. So public static void main, as usual, string args baby dog D. Now we are creating a object D for the class baby dog. Okay, so new baby dog. So this is the class for which we are creating an object. Now let us see how this multi-level inheritance comes into place. So D dot weep, D dot bark, D dot eat. Okay, so now even though this baby dog class contains only weep as the function, we are calling D dot weep, but we are also able to call the function D dot bark and D dot eat. Where is the bark function? That is in the previous class, which is the dog class. Where is the eat function, which is in the previous class of the dog class, which is the animal class, eat. So since we have the multi-level inheritance by this line, these two lines, we are able to call the weep function, dark function, bark function and the eat function. Here this is the weep from the baby dog, bark from the dog function, and then eat from the animal class. So by the use of this multi-level inheritance, we are able to call all the functions of the classes level by level. This is called as a multi-level inheritance. Okay, now let us see the definition of hierarchical inheritance. When two or more classes inherits a single class, it is known as an hierarchical inheritance. It is like an parent having many children and those children acquiring the qualities of the parent, a single parent. Okay, now let us see the example how this hierarchical inheritance works. So as the same example is extended here, class animal void eat system.out.println eating one message. Likewise, class dog extends animal void bark system.out.println barking. So we are extending the animal class from by the dog class. Now here is the concept that has come for the hierarchical inheritance. Class cat extends animal. Okay, so here class dog extends animal, here class cat extends animal. That means animal class is the single parent class where dog is one child and cat is the other child. So in this example for hierarchical inheritance, the single parent animal has two children class or the subclass, namely the dog and the cat. So this is called as an hierarchical inheritance. And now cat has the function as meow. System.out.println meowing. Okay, now let us see how the inheritance can happen. Class test inheritance open brace public static void main string args. Now let us see cat c is equal to new cat. Now we are creating an object called c for the class cat. Okay, now this cat has extended the animal class. Now we can say c dot meow because c, which is the object of the cat class, has the function as meow. So that is possible to call. Now we are calling c dot eat. That means we are calling the object eat function, which is of the animal class, by the object c, which is from the cat class. Okay, so now this is possible, but if you give c dot bark, so this bark is for the dog class, but from the cat class we cannot access the dog class because they are in the both the level. Cat is one child of the animal class as well as dog is the another child of the animal class. So this cat class cannot get the qualities of the dog class. If you type like this, you will get an compile time error. So that is the, so here if you want to make them hierarchical inheritance, this should be called only through this extension method, which is the keyword extends. Okay, now let us see what is multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance is not supported in Java through the class. Then how it is done? It is done by the interface concept. Okay, this is the multiple inheritance. With the, like this is, we can give an example as a parent class, a mother and the father, okay, having a child. So this type of class is not allowed in Java. That means the children class or the child class cannot get the qualities from two different parent class. So there should be always be a single parent class, and there cannot be a multiple parent class. So multiple inheritance is not supported in Java. And what is hybrid inheritances? This is a combination of many. So if you see this is a single inheritance. If you see this is the hierarchical inheritance. If you see this is an multiple inheritance, and if you see this is a multi-level inheritance. So combining all the inheritance together is called as an hybrid inheritance. Okay, so in order to achieve the multiple inheritance, Java uses a new concept called interface. By the interface, we can call the different methods of the other classes from various classes. So that's all the concept of inheritance. So inheritance is mainly used for overriding the function as well as for the reusability of the code. Hope this will be easy to follow, and thanks for watching.